Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Keisha here, career coach and life coach for women who want to find what their soul purpose is in life. Soul, as in be guided by soul, be led by soul, have work in the world that allows you to be energized, that allows you to feel passionate, that allows you to love what you do and be paid abundantly for it. So today I want to talk about what to do when you know that you're not in the correct line of work for you, but you also don't know what the right thing for you is, right? It's kind of like you know what doesn't work and you know what you don't like, but you have no idea where to go from there. So, what do you do in that situation? So, I first want to normalize this for you and say that it's so common. It's so common that women may not know what they want. Now, I don't fully believe that you don't know what you want, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But if you're someone who feels like you have no idea what you want, know that that's super common. And again, as I mentioned in many of my videos, it really goes back to our social conditioning. So, because we are groomed and conditioned to be people pleasers as women, that literally means that we learn what everyone else wants. We learn how to fulfill everyone else's needs. And so when you're constantly going around trying to make everyone happy and trying to make everyone else comfortable and take care of everyone else's needs, what happens? You tend to neglect your own needs. You tend to neglect your own desires, your own passions, your own interests. And before too long, by the time you've developed into a woman, you don't really know who you are outside of your relationships. And this is so common with mothers, for example. We hear all the time about women who lose themselves in motherhood because being a mother just becomes your identity. So you don't know who you are outside of your children. And that's true whether you have kids or not. It's easy for us to lose ourselves in our relationships. You may not know who you are outside of your romantic relationships. Who are you outside of your friendships? Who are you outside of the role that you fill at work? And so we don't have a sense of self. We don't have a strongly defined sense of self, which leaves a lot of us feeling lost. And if we don't know what to do next, many of us will just stay exactly where we are, even if we're not happy where we are. Because where we are is at least comfortable in the sense that it's familiar. And because we have a fear of the unknown, we stay put. So I mentioned earlier that I don't fully believe that you don't know what you want. And here's why I say that. Us as women, we have a very biological, natural, almost primitive connection to our intuition, right? The feminine intuition is historically known as an amazing and powerful, almost mystical, magical thing. And because historically women have been oppressed throughout the ages, one of the first things that people have done to condition women to get out of their own power is to condition women not to trust themselves, to condition women not to trust their intuition, to condition women to not engage in the deeply feminine practices that helps us to feel connected to our intuition, that helps us to feel connected to nature and natural cycles like the moon and the seasons and things like that. So the further we get cut off from nature, the more conditioned we are not to trust ourselves, the more we lose touch with our intuition. And another way this shows up in terms of us being conditioned to not trust our intuition, we're also shut down emotionally. You know, we hear women being called emotional, being called sensitive, being called hysterical, exaggerating, right? When really what we're doing is responding in an emotionally appropriate way. But when you're told so many times you're too emotional, you're too sensitive, you're crazy, and all of these things, you start to believe it, and you start to not only repress your own emotions, but you get to the point where you don't trust what you feel. And then you start looking to everyone else for guidance and advice about how you should live your life, when the truth is, deep down, you know what's best for you. You know where you are being guided in life. You just don't trust yourself. So the key here to figuring out what it is that you do want to do with your life, what is your life purpose, what is your soul purpose, is again, developing this strong connection with your intuition. And I want to make it clear that your intuition, it's always with you. It's always been there. It's not that you don't have one, it's just that you can't hear it anymore. You can't feel it anymore because you're so conditioned to be disconnected from it. So in order to start to figure out who you are as an adult woman, what you want, now that you've kind of started to learn what you don't want in a career, is one, start to get still again. And what I mean by still is make time for being alone, make time for silence, make time for just being by yourself. And for women, that's very challenging for us because it goes completely against our conditioning. Again, with the people pleasing and being nurturers and caretakers, we thrive off of relationships. Now, that's one of our strengths as well because we're natural networkers and we do very well in community. That's definitely a strength. But coming from a wounded place, coming from a conditioned place, that can turn into overgiving, oversharing, not ever having time by ourselves, not ever taking care of ourselves in the way that we need to take care of ourselves because we're so busy taking care of everyone else. So you must make alone time, quiet time, time to be still, free of distractions, no TV, no looking at your to-do list, no thinking about all the things you have to do later and who needs what, just being alone with yourself. That can look like meditation in many ways. And if you have not yet gotten into a practice of meditation, I cannot stress enough how powerful, how healing, how transformative meditation will be for you. There are all kinds of meditation. There's guided meditation, there's quiet meditation. You can sit outside under the sun or under the trees and just take a few deep breaths. It doesn't have to be that deep and it doesn't have to be all Zen unless you want it to be. But a lot of people are intimidated by meditation because, I mean, it seems intimidating. I'm supposed to sit silently with myself and my thoughts and not do anything. So if you're used to always going and being on the run, that's going to feel challenging for you. But understand that that's part of your conditioning too. The need to always be taking action and doing for other people is part of your conditioning. So if you want to decondition yourself, you're going to have to learn how to sit with the discomfort of being still. Because eventually you will get used to it. Eventually you will find that sense of inner peace and joy that comes when you are completely present in the moment, when the mind chatter in the background isn't constantly going off and you're able to connect with yourself. You're able to connect with your intuition. You're able to connect with your spiritual higher power. And you're able to get clarity on what the next steps of your life are. But if you're always so distracted, you're not going to be able to hear that quiet voice. Because your intuition is very quiet. There's a quote I heard recently that said, fear screams and intuition whispers. And it's so true because our fears are so loud all the time. And because they're so loud, we will often give into the fear. But if we're willing to, again, sit with the discomfort of being still and being quiet when it's not something that we're used to, we will be able to hear the whispers of guidance from spirit, of guidance from our intuition, and be able to know what's next for us in our lives. Another way that you can connect with yourself as a woman and connect with your intuition is to have more fun. Have more fun. I can't stress this enough. Fun is one of the things that is the most overlooked and undervalued in our society, especially as women. And this is where it's really sad, I think, because part of what makes us so powerful and magnetic and persuasive as women is that when we're in our pleasure, when we're laughing, when we're playing, when we're having fun, and when you're not doing that, you become so stiff and so bored and boring, quite frankly, and you lose your sense of humor because you're so stressed out and you can't remember the last time you had just like a carefree time. And sometimes we make up these lies and tell ourselves, well, I don't have time to have fun because I have responsibilities and I have to do all these things. Let me just remind you, if you're not prioritizing your well-being and having fun is a huge part of that, then you are prioritizing sickness and disease, okay? So you can say all you want, you don't have the time and energy to play and have fun and laugh, but it will catch up with you sooner or later. If you're eventually gonna hit burnout, you're gonna get sick, you're going to be sad, you're going to be anxious, and it's just not going to be healthy for you in any way, shape, or form. So ask yourself, really, when is the last time I had pure fun just for the sake of having fun? And how often am I giving myself that? How often am I making that a priority in my own life? If you feel cut off from your life purpose and you feel cut off from your intuition, I bet you're not having enough fun, because fun is a huge part of the feminine energy and feminine spirit. It's just what makes us so like juicy and like glowy, and it makes things that we want come more easily into our lives when we are vibrating at this higher frequency of pleasure and fun. So if you haven't done that in a while and you're feeling a little bit lost about what's next, stop thinking about what's next. Stop thinking about your purpose and go and have fun. I don't care what you do. Call your girlfriends up. Go do something by yourself. Just do something that's going to help you to laugh, feel good, feel joyful, and play. Okay? You probably need a vacation too. When's the last time you had a vacation or a staycation or a weekend getaway? Go do that. And again, if you think you don't have the time, energy, and money, I'm going to tell you, you can't afford not to do it. You can't afford not to do it. Your life becomes easier when you start making yourself number one in your own life. You need to come first, nobody else. Because if you're not doing well and you're not taking care of yourself, you can't be there for anyone else. Period. Last thing that is really, really good for you to help you connect to your intuition and your powerful feminine energy is surround yourself with other women who can mirror and model for you what you want more of in your own life, okay? So quite often we tend to associate with people that are just like us. It's like a human biological thing. We feel safety in numbers. We feel accepted when we're around people who are like us. Problem with that is, though, while there are benefits to that, there are also some consequences to that aren't so great, because we can become very stagnant, hanging around the same type of people who are just like us, talking about the same things all the time, recycling the same ideas. There's no new energy, there's no new information. And so it's just kind of like being in a vacuum. It's the same thing all the time. To connect with your intuition, you need more variety. You got to shake things up. So start hanging out with other women who are in their power. If you want more freedom and pleasure in your life, start making friends with women who are free in their lives, who are clearly in their pleasure in their own lives. If you need to get more in touch with your body, you need to move your body more often, start dancing. That's so feminine. That's such a great practice for connecting with your intuition. Start making friends with other women who are dancers. Do they belly dance? Do they do pole? Do they dance, do heels classes? What do they do? Connect with other women like that. And there's always an excuse that you can make for why you can't do something that's good for you, right? So if you find yourself making excuses over and over again, you need to understand and take responsibility that you are contributing to yourself being stuck. So if you're not happy where you're at, but you're also not willing to get uncomfortable to do what you need to do to change it, then you have no one to blame but yourself. Okay? So, and that's a form of self-sabotage, by the way. Not taking full responsibility for how you can improve your own life is a form of self-sabotage. So less excuses, more taking action that's going to make you happier and healthier and really connect you with your soul again. Your poor soul that's been trying to get your attention for God knows how long, and you're not paying attention to it. It's time to come back to that place. So there are so many other ways to connect with your feminine energy, your intuition. Those are just a few examples. But because we live in a hyper masculine society at this time, and when I say that, by the way, I don't mean that masculine energy is bad. I think masculine energy, when it's coming from a healthy place, is a beautiful thing. And we as women need that masculine energy to be activated within ourselves in a healthy way to support the feminine energy and intuition and flow and ease and all these things that we love about being a woman. We need both within us. But because we live in a society that has been heavily masculine, sometimes we as women can become masculine as well. And when I'm talking about masculine and feminine, I'm really saying this in a general way. I don't even think of it as like a man thing and a woman thing. When I talk about feminine and masculine energy, I don't. I know that's what it's labeled, and it helps people to understand it better. I don't like to label things as masculine and feminine because not everyone identifies with those terms and, all these things. But just for the sake of talking about it and so people understand what I'm talking about, we live in a society that focuses more on the masculine energy, which is the getting things done, which is the achieving and the working hard and focus on making money and all of these things. And that's great when it's in a healthy amount, right? But when the focus is too heavy on that, we as women get caught up in that, and it takes us out of our feminine flow and fun and ease and play. And then we're stressed out, we're burned out, we don't have the energy to do the things that we need to do to take care of ourselves. So because we're so heavy in the masculine at this point in time in the world and in history, we have to make an extra special effort to do things that remind us of our femininity, okay? And that, what does that look like for you? Do you need to take a bubble bath? Do you need to get some nice lotion and just like rub it all over your body and remind yourself of what a goddess and a queen you are? Like, what do you need to do to get into your femininity? Dress up, you know, get yourself a nice dress, take yourself out if you're single, go out on a date with your partner if you're in a relationship. Remind yourself of your feminine energy, because it's so easy for us to forget that it exists in the world that we live in, okay? And this is something that I have had to work on, because I used to be very much in my masculine energy because I was an achiever and a go-getter and always good in schools and always excelling in my work and all of these things. And then it took me out of my feminine. And connecting with my feminine has been such an amazing practice for me, because it made me realize I don't always have to do and be on the go and achieve. I can lean back sometimes as a woman and allow things to come to me because of my magnetism, because of my attraction powers, because of my power of persuasion, because of my beauty sometimes. And there's nothing wrong with that. Celebrate your beauty as a woman. I think that beauty from the feminine perspective is very healing on the world in general, when it's not, of course, abused and taken advantage of. But we can all appreciate a beautiful woman, a woman who takes care of herself, because she inspires us to do the same for ourselves, right? And again, that's when it's coming from a healthy place. When we're in a wounded place, we can sometimes dismiss that, belittle it, get jealous of a woman who's really taking care of herself and all the things. So the way that you respond to things and the way that you feel about things is a really good indicator of where you are and what things need your love and attention within yourself. So that's all I have for you today, everyone. I hope you've been enjoying this series about how to bring more fun, more play, more pleasure, more of a sense of ease into your work and career. Because if we don't have this, and I'm speaking from experience because I've been through this, you will burn out and you're gonna miss out on the joy that can be found through your work, the pleasure that can be found through your work. And I truly believe, since we're spending so much of our lives working, if we're not enjoying it, then like, what is the point? Like, what are we doing? We need to understand that we have more power and control to shape our lives in the way that we want it to look than we really give ourselves credit for. So take your power back by embracing and learning how to reconnect with your powerful intuition. And that will really help you along this journey of determining your soul purpose in life, your life purpose in life. And it's not so much that you always have to look for what that is. Like, what am I meant to do? Why am I here? And all of these things, because I think our purpose has a way of finding us when we're just living life authentically and joyfully and not always in our heads about what's supposed to be happening and what we have to do. Okay, so if you're interested on one-on-one coaching work with me in the realm of developing your dream career, in the realm of working on your money mindset, developing a more positive mindset, developing your confidence as a woman, your assertiveness as a woman, getting back in touch with your feminine energy and your powers, or anything like that, and how that all ties together, because it all does tie together. That's why I call myself a soul purpose coach, because like, yeah, I'm a life coach and yeah, I'm technically a career coach, but it's all about soul. What speaks to your soul? What moves you? What are you passionate about? What do you love? And if you don't know that and you don't know how to get paid for that, you need to contact me through the application link in the description box. And don't wait. Like, some of you I know have been watching me for a while and you love my content and you have yet to reach out to me. And this is part of how women sometimes we're out of our power, because it's like, okay, well, I know what I want, but I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm going to wait. Or, I don't feel like I deserve this, or I don't have the confidence to reach out about this. And if that's you, no, you're such a powerful being. You're such a powerful person. And you need to start learning how to, again, trust the gut, trust the pull that you're getting from the universe or from your soul to move in a direction of something that feels good to you, that sounds good to you, and that would help you further your life. Thank you all so much for watching. I so appreciate all the feedback and comments I've been getting about this video. Be sure to check out my my podcast, the Soul Purpose Podcast. I have 4 episodes out now. And again, this is for the entrepreneurial minded woman, the business minded woman, the spiritual woman who's focused on her own growth. And the podcast is part, loving on you and holding space for you, but it's also part tough love and part triggering, because sometimes we get a little bit too comfortable and we need to hear the truth and be jolted back into reality so that we can take our power back and start moving forward in life more intentionally, as well as in our careers. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll be back really soon with the next video. Bye!